Welcome, everybody, to KGUN 9's Huddle, our sports streaming talk show. We come to you every single week, every Tuesday at this time. I'm KGUN 9 Sports Director Jason Barr, joined by Pat Paris. And Pat, we've got some special guests here on the Huddle hotline today.
It should be fun, right? These two are good friends, and yet coming up on Sunday, they're going to go head-to-head and see the best man win, I guess.
We're talking about Sugar Skulls head coach Hurtis Chinn, who is on our right, and Bay Area head coach Dixie Wooten and former Sugar Skulls head coach Dixie Wooten. He's on the left, and they're going to play each other, just as Pat said, in the first round of the Indoor Football League playoffs this coming Sunday at Bay Area. Dixie, Hurtis, thanks for joining us here on the Huddle.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here, man.
All right, first off, what is your relationship? First of all, last year Hurtis was underneath you, Dixie. Now, you were let go by the Sugar Skulls. You've landed, of course, in Bay Area. Here you are visiting the Tucson Arena earlier this year. Hurtis has the job that you had. What's your relationship been like through all this?
Man, I talk to Chinn almost every day, man. That's my brother. The thing about it is, man, I think, like at the end of the day, I didn't get the job done in Tucson, and the guy family made a change, and you couldn't pick a better coach than Coach Chinn, man. He was assistant coach of the year, and that's because he did so much for the organization last year, and it was a great move. So if when you move on from another coach, you got to hire a guy like Hurtis Chinn.
And Hurtis, conversely, your relationship with Dixie, I'm sure it's a strong one. Tell us about it.
You got to realize, so me and Dixie met as players playing together in 2009, along with Coach Jackson and, Mike Davis, who's over there in Vegas. But it's a couple of us met in 2009. So we started, I guess you could say, in the trenches together, actually playing and knowing what it takes. And then throughout the course of that season, our coach at the time, we went through a coaching change. So me and Dixie had to become the offensive coordinators during that time as players. So we learned a lot fast because we was through in the fire. And from there, we got to watch each other grow as players, a little bit after that, and then on to position coaches, to coordinators, to head coaches. So it's been a journey for both of us, and we've both been there to kind of talk through things amongst each other, throughout the course of this time. So it's been wonderful.
Dixie, you gave a really gracious answer, but it's not fun to be let go. What was that experience like, and how much time did it kind of take you to get over it when Kathy Guy wanted to make a change at head coach at the end of last year?
Yeah, I like Tucson. So, when they made that change, it was disappointing, of course, but at the end of the day, in this coaching situation, at the end of the day, every coach probably I know then got fired. So, one thing you do is you just go dust off the old resume, send it out, and I think, I put a good enough resume to get a job. And soon as people knew that I was open, they hit me up. And, I had a few head coaching openings, but I wanted to go somewhere that was had a great organization, and Bay Area was the one I wanted to come to.
Yeah, Hurtis, on your side of things, it's never fun to be part of that staff that sees the head coach get fired. You probably feel like, maybe I could have done something to help this team better. Yet you get promoted, so it's kind of an odd situation, I'm sure, for you.
Of course it was, but even so, even when it happened initially, right off the back, I actually gave Dixie a call and say, hey, just I'm interviewing for the job, and it was kind of like he gave me his blessing right off the back. It wasn't, friction there. It was like, hey, you should interview for the job. I told him you should interview for the job when I knew that this was happening. So do I want to be a part of something that happens like that? No, of course not. But we did understand that it was a part of the business for both of us. And since then, just moved on in a gracious way.
And so, Dixie, you're kind of in the shoes this year that Hurtis was in maybe at the end of last year, whereas you didn't start this season as Bay Area's head coach or co-head coach. You were the offensive coordinator. What happened there, and how similar was that situation to maybe what happened to the Sugar Skulls at the end of last year?
It was a situation where we came to the building one day, and next thing you know, our head coach had walked away, because I think he had some other business ventures going on. So me and Rob Keefe was just threw the keys to it, and being a head coach places and understand how this is. Football, we didn't miss a beat. So it was being in Iowa, being in Tucson, being in different places that you understood how the head coach position goes. So we didn't miss a beat on it.
What was it like lining up against each other, in essence, being head coaches? And you did it twice this past season, but in particular the last meeting in May, where Dixie, you were already, in essence, the head coach, and Hurtis, you were firmly entrenched as a head coach here. Now, what was that first, that first real meeting like in May, the second meeting of the season, but the first meeting? I'll start with you, Hurtis. To have to match wits with him instead of being a teammate, instead of being on the same side as coach and head coach and offensive coordinator. What was it like to match wits with him?
It was fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we both competitors. So we're not shying away from, we both want to win, but it was also a conversation like, hey, win, lose, or draw from either side, we need to go have a beer afterwards. So it's one of those things where, we don't let that get in the way of, what's going on. But at the same time, we're both competitors. We're both trying to win the game. We're both trying to get our team in the best situations possible to win the game. But it's also fun, even between transitioning, going on the field, coming off the field, it's a little chatter here and there. It's a little, hey, smile, hold your head up. Or, hey, we coming, just things like that. Just to, as competitors, you say along the way. But it's been fun, actually.
Dixie, your thoughts?
Man, it's always fun because, at the end of the day, he's my brother. So when I see him having success, it makes me feel good like that. And that's how it is. So when we play each other, I always tell my guys, look, make sure you go hit the weight room an extra day, because every Hurtis Chinn team is always going to be tough and it's going to be brutal, man. So, it's fun playing against him, but after the game is over, we try to rush these guys to the trainer so they can get ready for the following week.
I'm Jason Barr, along with Pat Paris. We're joined here on the Huddle with Hurtis Chinn, the Tucson Sugar Skulls head coach, and Dixie Wooten, the Bay Area Panthers head coach and former Sugar Skulls head coach, as the two teams are set to play each other in the IFL playoffs on Sunday. Hurtis, your team is 6-1 on the road this year. Dixie, you guys were 6-1 at home this year. Only loss was to the Sugar Skulls. Hurtis, why are the Sugar Skulls so much better on the road this year than at home?
I don't know. I think the fans made them mad one day, and they just said we'll play better away. But no, we've been trying to address that all season, man. Like I continuously say, we're so thankful and grateful for the fans here in Tucson. Just the turnout that they came this year, man. We beyond grateful for that. But I asked the players this multiple times, and they just felt like they pressed a little bit too much at home. So they felt like they wanted to do so well at home against this home, to defend this home field, that they pressed a little bit too much. And that away games, it was kind of like, let's just go out here and play, when that should have been the mode and the process they went through mentally every game, whether it was home or away. When you prepared to do something, and that's what you use this week of practice for, just to prepare to do it, we want those guys to be out there loose and not pressing just because, we at home. Even in times that we blew the lead, say like a Vegas game at home, it was just unfortunate. But they said they just feel a little bit loose away. But that's something we've been trying to adjust and fight up. And it was an uphill battle the whole season. But at least we finished well at home, the season in the game here.
Yeah, you certainly did with a win back on Saturday night, and you got 2 wins in a row. And Dixie, from your perspective, you see a team that's a little bit on a roll. You guys are playing well as well. What's the being a familiar opponent like the Tucson Sugar Skulls are to you and to your team, having played them twice? This is the third game, the rubber game. Is that an advantage one way or another, or not so much? Knowing
not really, because when you split, that means we both made the proper changes in our rosters and also plays and stuff on the field. But this the playoff time, so them 2 regular season games are out the window. Like now, it's going to be every player is going to be hanging on every play, every coach. You're going to see us probably heads in the whiteboard trying to fix every mistake. So I think this game here is going to come down to the wire again, and it's going to be a pretty good one. But at the end of the day, those 2 regular season games are out the window. It's playoffs. the good thing about me and Coach Chinn, we've been in the playoffs for a long time, and all these years, we just had success winning the championship. So we live for these playoff moments.
Dixie, the Sugar Skulls have a defensive player and a former Arizona Wildcat named Rashi Hodge, who I believe has 8 interceptions this year. What are you telling your offense about how to stay away from him on game day?
We tell them about seeing Hodge, man. He's crazy because he can catch an interception, but he can hit you like a linebacker. So but in an arena game, an indoor game, you can't get away from it. So we saying catch, get out of bounds, and make sure we catch it in front of him, because if you don't, he's gonna pick it off. So we're very aware what number 5 is, and we have to see him every play.
Yeah, and Hurtis, he's come a long way since being a guy that kind of showed up late last season. We're talking Rashi Hodge here, right. and he was a linebacker, right, in college. So he plays that position with the skill of a defensive back, but with maybe the heart and the muscle of a linebacker.
Yeah, when he came into this league, like I tell anybody, it wasn't nothing to his fault, but we just had some injuries last year at the position to where he kind of played and helped us out only because of injuries. So going back to a position he was actually, comfortable with, playing that, field corner, boundary corner. Sometimes we have him in the box. We actually move Hodge around a little bit, in the course of this season. But he just has a knack for the ball, and he's an athletic player. When it comes to the indoor game, and like Dixie just mentioned, it's not too much or too far to where you can run away from him, and he's been making plays for us all season.
Dixie Wooten was not only head coach of the Sugar Skulls, but also won an IFL championship for the Iowa Barnstormers. Hurtis, what does a Dixie Wooten offense look like? What in that offense do you see up? That's a Dixie Wooten coach team.
To start, you got a quarterback over there who's probably up for MVP, and a running back who's probably up for Offensive Player of the Year. So it just looks like the quarterbacks that are prepared. When they talk about Dixie offense, is they're prepared for the moment. And when I say prepared for the moment, they can play a game that's a high-paced game, like you look at they play with Arizona. If you want to go score for score and make it a high possession, or they can slug it out with you also. So either game you want to play, they're good at adjusting and playing any game that you would want to play from an offense or defense standpoint to pose a threat. And that's been getting the job done for them all season.
Yeah, are there similarities? I'll ask you, Dixie. Do you see, that some of the stuff rub off on Hurtis, and some of what Hurtis does kind of rub off on you, or is it something going all the way back to 2009? You guys kind of came up with this system that works so well for the IFL.
Like in 2009 in River City, Chinn was my number 1 receiver. So we think a lot, we game plan a lot alike. So we know how to be balanced, and that's the thing about if you see a Coach Chinn team and a team like mine, we try to be balanced because we understand how important the running game is, but we understand how the pass game go as well. So you're going to always see our quarterbacks ready to go, because we both do a good job of making sure they work hard at practice, but also we understand every coverage because we didn't seen every coverage as a player. Now as a coach, we know every coverage in the indoor game. So that's why we can be real balanced. But if we got to go high scoring, and Coach Chinn, when they like against these last 2 games against Duke City, they had to ramp up and score 59. But against Green Bay, Green Bay tried to slow the game down on them, and they matched that and scored every drive, running the football, scoring 48 points. So, that's the great thing about him. He know how to switch it up and make sure he play the game how it goes.
Coaches certainly talk to one another before and after the game, how much, depending upon maybe how close they are or their relationship. Obviously, there's a different situation with the Indoor Football League with the coaches on the field during the game while it's being played. You two don't really talk to each other during the game, right? I know you mentioned some trash talking last time, but you're not really talking to each other during the game, are you?
Yes. When you see us walk on the field like a timeout or something, we're really talking. Like fellas, this is my brother. Like just this week we probably done talked 5 times, and we just not on the phone for like 10 minutes. We probably on the phone 2 hours. So this is something like, I am so happy for my guy getting that opportunity in Tucson, because my thing is, first off, he was there when Tucson went to 3 playoff teams. three playoffs. So he basically helped build that program with Marcus Coleman. Now he understand that he understand everything about Tucson, the community. Last year he went and got all the food deals. He went and did all the stuff in the community. So basically, by him stepping up and being the head coach, it didn't miss a beat and it got 10 times better.
Yeah, so what to expound on that, it can be something as simple as he might be throwing a challenge flag that I don't like. And if I see him out there, I'll be like, hey, stop talking to the refs and put that flag back in your pocket, But yeah, we actually talk in passing during the game, even in big moments, because I like to, a lot of people like to look at big moments however they may, it's just another moment in the game. If we happen to pass each other for a game-winning drive, I'll be like, hey, look at me. That's what it's about, We'll laugh about it. But it's, that's just how to keep it juicy, keep it fun, keep it creative, but at the end of the day, don't take it to heart, but you putting everything in your heart to win the ball game.
Yeah. Hurtis, I want to ask you, we talked after the game Saturday night, but you guys seem to be really clicking offensively. The last two games, you've basically scored on every possession, and it seems like that, that mountain that you were climbing at the beginning of the season of having a new quarterback and learning the system, and it seems like you've finally arrived with that system. I don't know if you would agree with that or not.
Yeah. So, the thing about it, I've been saying all season, and Dixie would notice as well as a coach, things don't happen on your timing all the time, So when you get a quarterback that didn't have a full season under his belt and just was trying to get used to some structure, trying to get used to some young receivers, he got one receiver in Carrington, but for the most part, he's been playing with young receivers the whole duration of the season just to get some familiarity with those guys out there. He's finally hitting his stride at the right time. And as coaches, we know the journey of coaching, if you can take someone and stick through when they're not doing so well, and then at the end see him playing well as he's doing now, you give credit to another coach like, hey, you know what? That's the way to stick that through and let coaching prevail and let the player and his diligence prevail in that situation. And that's what we're seeing now in the last couple of games.
All right, last thing for me, you mentioned how close you guys are. So does that mean there's any bet on the game? I don't mean a bet as in a gamble of Vegas style, but somebody takes somebody to dinner or something like that. Do you do anything like that with this game, or is just the type of situation where somebody's just so happy to win that you don't do anything like that?
Now we don't bet like if I go to the casino,
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. Right?
Oh no, we don't anyway. Like if I'm the type, I go to the casino, I lose $20, I'm done. I'm walking out. So betting, we just have fun with it, and like the team that win, we gonna be on the phone that next day and talking about it and making sure everybody good, man. So that's what it is about me and my brother, man.
The only bet I would make is that internally, not on no app or anything like that. I would bet that he would bet on himself, and so will I. And we're gonna go out there and compete.
Good answer.
There you go. Very
good answer.
And I'll end this by asking both of you. The odds are that no matter who wins this game, you're probably going to be playing Kevin Guy and the Arizona Rattlers. So you'll probably be Hurtis. I'll start with you. You'll probably be rooting the other one on because you want to see that guy. If you don't win, you want to see him continue to win.
Hey, listen, this is what it's about when it comes to situations like that. Whether it be Northern Arizona or Phoenix, the next team is the next situation. It's the next step for either ball club, and that's what it is. I don't think he does either. Try to get too personal with this thing because it'll have you coaching out of whack. It'll have your emotions out of whack when you're out there on that field if it gets too personal. So you try to just stay even keel no matter who it is and move forward with it.
All right, fantastic. Dixie, Wooten, Hurtis, Chinn. Hurtis, if you win, maybe we'll have you and Kevin on together next week.
That'd be great.
And it's a Tucson. This is a Tucson digital show here. So, and Dixie, Wooten, thanks so much for a couple of minutes up in the Bay Area. Hurtis, Chinn, same to you as well. Absolutely. Here on. And like Pat said, we'll I'm sure the other will be rooting each other on Sunday night going into next week. So thanks for a few minutes.
Thanks,
good luck to you both this week at Bay Area in the Indoor Football League playoffs, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all.
All right, fellas. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dixie. Thanks, Hurtis.
All right, Pat. I tell you what I learned from that was we knew they were friendly and close. I didn't realize they were that close.
Yeah, I knew they were close, but to have them call, have Dixie call Hurtis his brother. I think that makes sense when he goes back all the way to 2009. They've basically been together, whether they're
So I
playing,
didn't know
coaching.
that Hurtis played for Dixie.
Yeah, I did know that, but it's you don't know the relationship. You never know the relationship, but
Right.
it makes sense that being teammates and then having one of them become an offensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden they're both on the staffs that win an IFL title with the Iowa Barnstormers, and then they come down here and they're working together. And it's it's not that big a business. It's a pretty small business when you're talking the Indoor Football League, and you see a lot of the same people. But for them to both be this successful, both be head coaches in the playoffs against each other, it's a great story, and they're great guys. They really are.
And these coaches get fired way too much and way
Yeah.
too off, more than they should. I remember even at Arizona when Rich Rodriguez's son, was going to now play for Kevin Sumlin, and somebody, it was me, I think maybe, who asked Kevin Sumlin if it was awkward at all, and no. He made it sound like we all get fired so much and we all know each other, and that's just how it is. It wasn't any type of weird deal.
And there really is kind of a fraternity of coaches. Whenever there's championship games, all the coaches show up, whether it's basketball or football. They have their conferences and everything, and they get to know each other very well off the field. Well, these guys already had it built in because they've known each other for 15 years.
All right, so. All right, well, we'll join you same next week at this time, and maybe we'll be talking Sugar Skulls.
Maybe again.
Either way, I think we'll be talking a little bit about Jane DeLore, the Arizona football quarterback, who's going to speak for the first time this Friday at Pac-12 Media Day since settling a sexual assault case. So we'll touch on that next Tuesday, and maybe we'll touch on the Indoor Football League if the Sugar Skulls win. And they've been playing well on the road, but Bay Area certainly is playing some good football as well.
Exactly right. We'll see. That's why they play the game, and I'm looking forward to it. It's Sunday afternoon. I think it's 3:05 Tucson time, the kickoff. So, we'll be able to watch it there on the streaming on YouTube.
All right, for Pat Paris, I'm Jason Barr. This has been the Huddle, KGUN 9 streaming sports talk show each week. And
we got one quick comment, real quick. Tim Barr.
All right. Yep. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I believe I saw you at the game on this past weekend. So thanks for the message. And that's a group of watching on Sunday.
There's a group of core fans of the Sugar Skulls that are diehard. They travel all over.
There was a big crowd this past weekend.
It was over 4,100. Over 4,100.
All right, we got to leave it there. For Pat, I'm Jason. Have a great day. We'll see you right back here next week on the Huddle.